Home and Away teases exit for beloved long-term character. New Home and Away spoilers have teased that we'll be saying goodbye to a long-term favorite in 2025, but is it Alf, Marilyn, Irene or Roo? Home and Away returns to Australian screens next Monday the 13th of January. After nearly 8 weeks off the air, and it looks like we're set for a huge departure sometime in the year. The 2024 season finale saw Cash awaken to find Tim Russell's battered and bloodied body next to him. And viewers were left wondering whether Cash was to blame, or whether Tim's former patient Nerida had attacked them both. Next Monday's return episode will see the debut of Neighbours and A Place to Call Home actor Craig Hall as Detective Mark Townsend, as he puts the pieces together and tries to figure out whether Cash really was to blame. However, while the first few weeks of the season will likely focus on Cash's attempts to prove his innocence, Australian magazine TV Week has revealed that we'll be saying a huge goodbye to a beloved character later in the year. The magazine doesn't reveal which favourite will be leaving the Bay, simply announcing that the departure is going to cause massive waves in Summer Bay. The article continues that producers aren't giving away who it is, but Ada Nicodemu, who plays Leah Patterson, teases that it may be someone important. Teasing the potential departees, TV Week wonders if it'll be a legacy cast member, with the article featuring photos of the 4 longest-serving characters: Irene Roberts, Alf Stewart, Marilyn Chambers and Roo Stewart. If their theory is correct, and considering TV Week often works closely with the show, we imagine it is which of Summer Bay's most beloved faces will be saying goodbye in 2025. Alf has been a Home and Away mainstay since the very first episode back in 1988. And despite having many health issues over the years, his most recent coming back in September, he's very rarely shown any sign of wanting to leaving what he's frequently described as the best flamin' place in the world. However, it's easy to forget that he's still married to Martha, who he frequently visits in Merimbula, after Alf remarried no longer dead first wife Martha in 2020. The couple split their time between Summer Bay and Martha's country retreat outside Merimbula. However, in July 2022, the show teased that we may be about to say goodbye to Alf, as Martha opted not to return to the Bay, and Alf was forced to decide whether to join her. In the end, Alf opted to remain in the Bay and embark upon a long-distance relationship with Martha, which they've maintained ever since. Could Martha finally tempt him into a new life away from Summer Bay? Despite Alf having a pretty good reason to leave, the most likely departure appears to be Irene Roberts, after Lynn McGranger hinted that she had been thinking of making a permanent exit after 31 years on the show. Irene isn't currently living in Summer Bay, having left for a rehab clinic in the city in August 2024 after relapsing to her alcohol addiction, which she has battled with many times since she first arrived in the Bay in 1991. "I'll be going for just a little while, not leaving anything permanently," Lynn revealed on Seven's The Morning Show earlier last year, when it was first announced that she would be taking a break to allow her to star in theatre production The Grandparents Club. Lynn has since returned to set, and Irene will return in 2025. But for how long? In an interview with Stella magazine back in May, Lynn hinted that she has been thinking more about a permanent exit for some time. "It's something I've mulled over, and it has been in the back of my mind for the last year or two," she explained. "Certainly, no date has been set to leave. But what I love about working on the Grandparents Club and being involved in this wonderful celebration is that it's taking me back to my roots. Who knows what the future holds?" She added teasingly, "If this is successful, God willing, I might just be hanging up my diner apron." It has since been confirmed that Lynn will be reprising her role in the Grandparents Club, as the play embarks on a nationwide tour later this year from July to October. But where could Irene be heading off to if she were to leave Summer Bay? The most plausible choice would be to have her move closer to one of her children. Damien was last heard to be living in New Zealand, with Irene having last visited him in 2020. Nathan's exact whereabouts haven't been specified, but it was confirmed that he was now married to Irish nurse Grace, who he met on his return to Summer Bay in 2002. Irene's daughter Finley has been firmly established as living in the city, whilst Irene's eldest, illegitimate son Mick has been largely forgotten about since he was packed off to WA after threatening to go after custody of baby Luke, the product of him assaulting Billy Ashford. Roo, who was played by Justine Clark in her original stint in 1988-1989, before Georgie Parker took over the role when the character returned in 2010, has also made a number of temporary exits in recent years. Like Lynn, Georgie has appeared in a number of theatre productions, the most recent coming just under a year ago, after wrapping up the filming at the end of January 2024. Georgie Parker went straight into rehearsals for a new David Williamson play, The Great Divide, at Sydney's Ensemble Theatre, which ran from March to April. Georgie's break was extended when she underwent her second hip replacement in the space of 6 years back in May 2024. A result of living with scoliosis since she was 13 years old. Her on-screen exit was explained by nephew Ryder inviting her to join him on the cruise ship where he's been working since he left the bay in May 2022. Georgie also took a 2-month break in 2023 to appear in another Sydney theatre production. Could a desire to take on more theatre work fuel a permanent exit for Georgie and Roo? We do in fact already know that Georgie will be taking a couple of breaks this year at the very least. Having signed up to a 4-week run from May to June starring in Rhinestone Rex and Miss Monica at the Queensland Theatre. This will be followed by a further 6 weeks starring in How to Plot a Hit in 2 Days. Back in Sydney at the Ensemble Theatre. From August to October. Whilst Roo's life seems firmly placed back in Summer Bay now after 15 years. Could she make the move to live with Mum Martha? Or could she go the other way and go searching for her daughter? Also called Martha, who was last heard of to be on the run with boyfriend Hugo Austin. Emily Simons has played Marilyn Chambers since 1989, first appearing in episode 309. She was a regular from 1989 to 1992. Then from 1995 to 1999. And made brief returns in 2000 and 2001. Before joining the full-time cast again in 2010. While Marilyn may be perfectly happy in the Bay, she too has family who could tempt her away. In late 2022, it was revealed that Maz had a long-lost daughter, Heather Fraser, with Maz explaining that 2 decades ago she had once worked as a housekeeper and had fallen pregnant to her employer. Heather tracked Marilyn down to Summer Bay where she sought revenge on her biological mother for abandoning her as a baby. She held Maz and her friends hostage, before nearly taking Maz with her as she fell off a rooftop. Remarkably, Heather survived the fall. While a reunion between Maz and Heather seems unlikely, Maz does have adopted son Jet, who is currently living in the city with wife Lindsay. Whoever is leaving, such a major departure is sure to send shockwaves through Summer Bay. However, with no confirmation as to which of the home and away stalwarts is set to depart. We'll just have to keep watching when the show returns next week.
Thanks for watching and stay tuned for more movie spoilers next week. Goodbye and see you again.